All right, it's now time for our second discussion on the program. This time around, we shall be looking at insecurity. Remember, in the course of the program, when we started this very edition today, we told you of INEC's alarm on either the elections will be cancelled in some areas due to insecurity. And then, if you look at the chain of events happening so fast, from the insurgency down to banditry, you understand that Nigeria is at a crossroad, and we're still trying to look for solutions to see how we get these things nib on the board. But this morning we shall be looking at the other area of insecurity. Insurgents that were arrested and rehabilitated by the Nigerian military have proposed that they shall be reintegrated back into the community by returning them back to their states of origin. Now, some persons are already raising concern about that decision, whether it will go well with the community, the fight against insecurity. But this morning, security agents with us, a security expert who is with us in the studio, will throw more light on that. He is Mr. Peter Adoni. He's a regular he's a regular guest with us. For those of you who are used to our program, good morning, sis.
Good morning. Thank you for having me once again.
You're welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So I want to get your reaction when I know you must have had this on the media also, reintegrating repentant Boko Haram insurgents back to the community. Is that another way of addressing insecurity?
Well, good morning once again. It's something that gets one very worried. Worried not necessarily about the insurgency, because now we are getting to a point in this country where we begin to develop what we call insecurity adaptation. And that's what we call it, insecurity adaptation. In other words, we live with insecurity to a point that we get adapted to it. It is no longer a problem. So just like it is now, dying in Nigeria is no longer a problem. You can just see a corpse lying on the road and people will just take a video shot, put it on their WhatsApp page, and everybody move on. People get killed in their homes or on the street or wherever. The family just grieve for a few days and move on. So we are getting adapted to that kind of life. Whereas if there is a car accident that killed more than 2 people in some other country, it's a headline news. But in this country now, did anybody care to find out how many people died on road transport accident during this Christmas? No. Nobody cares.
Figures are being released.
You hear the bogus figures and you just chunk and say, well, it's okay. So for me, when I read the news that we are trying to bring some of these repentant in quote, insurgents back, into free society, I just chunk. I just, well, what will be? Those who will die will die. And those who will live will continue to live. Because we are tired of talking. We are tired of sermonizing. We are fed up of telling people who have a responsibility, who took a job, who signed a dotted line to say, I will do this. We are tired of telling them to do their job. This is not the first time the military authorities are doing this. They've done it severally, and they saw the result. They saw the consequences arising from it. So we don't need to tell them what is going to be expected. They know what to expect. They know it. If they say they don't know it, I will be surprised.
But do you think these persons, after going through reforms or the programs of the military to
What kind of reform did they go through, my dear brother?
Bring them away from
what kind of reform? How do you reform a radicalized mind, a religiously radicalized mind? How do you reform it? Religion is the worst thing that happened to humanity. Religion is the worst thing that happened to humanity. Once your mind is skewed religiously, except you slaughter that person. That's why you see them, they take the bold step to die. They are ready to die for that thing in their head. So how do you work on such a person and you come and tell me that he has been changed, he has been radicalized? Did you remove him from that religion? Did you remove him from that mindset? How did you do it? Did you put a pin in his brain and turn it around? Boy, there is nothing like de-radicalization. It's a horse somewhere. It doesn't happen. It does not happen. Take a look at other countries where this has been happening. A good example is Pakistan. Pakistan has had this issue for over 50 years now. And some people are still not de-radicalized. There is nothing you will do to de-radicalize a religiously skewed mind. Mind you, I am not talking about any particular religion. I mean every religion. Every religion. People are ready to die for what they believe in.
But my question is, so much is expected of the military. The military is expected to fight the insurgents. The military is expected to ensure that places are well secured. Now the military have captured, they have gotten these people, and they have done this to the level that they can. And now they want to hand them over to their state government. Don't you think it is the duty of the state government now to say, okay, thank you for giving them back to us, but we feel that they are not ripe for integration. We want to do more on them before we integrate them into the society. Don't you think that we should have something like that ongoing, not depending on the military's job again? Because the military's job is to fight the insurgent. Why are we now depending on the military to work on these captured people and integrate them into the society? I feel it is not the duty of the military to do that.
You are very correct. And that is where we got it wrong. Ab initio. I said it on this set more than once, that the military is not doing its job. That is why they are getting it wrong. The military is not doing its job. Go to the Constitution, find out. The job of the military is to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria, not fighting insurgency. In other places, it is not the military that are fighting insurgency. Are you hearing me? Because insurgency is a different kettle of fish altogether. The military should concentrate on its job. I remember when this present set of service chiefs were appointed. I was here when your colleague asked, what is your advice for this new set of people? And I was like, if I was to advise them, sitting face to face with them, I would tell the CDS, sit down with your team, bring a map of Nigeria, put it down. Identify all the pockets of different insecurity across the country and identify the various government agencies that are responsible for them.
Government agencies?
Yes, there are government agencies that are responsible for each of the insecurity challenge we have in the different parts of the country.
How? Let's get it.
And the military is aware.
And the military is aware.
The military being aware. If you are making allegations now that they are responsible, is it that they are not doing what?
No, rather
yes,
the
government, these government agencies are not doing their job.
Rather, the government is aware.
The government is aware. The government is aware that the problem of external migration into the country is the problem of immigration. Two of us.
True.
Government is aware that common criminality like banditry is the problem of the police. Government is also aware that the problem of protecting critical national assets is the problem of the civil defense. Is the government not, are these not government agencies? Go out there, you see civil defense sitting under the tree and eating your pa. Is that their job? No. Some of them are even doing private security guards for politicians. I was hearing in the news yesterday, 7 civil defense civil defense staff killed in Kaduna at a mine site. What are they doing at a mine site, for God's sake? Who is doing the mining? Chinese. What are we telling ourselves? So the army is, or the military is not doing the job they are supposed to be doing. So that is where we get it wrong, first and foremost. Secondly, the problem of these guys that we said we have de-radicalized. Was it even the job of the military to de-radicalize them? Were they the ones that radicalized them in the first place? So they were taking on a job that is not their own. And let me tell you my suspicion, I may be wrong, is that the military is carrying a burden that they discover that is not their burden, and they are looking for a way to offload it. Because you need to, when you keep these people, you feed them, you care for them, they take all your attention when you are not supposed to be doing that. So maybe somewhere I may be wrong, but maybe they cannot read the budgetary requirement to keep these people is no more available.
So you can't be keeping them for this long if you said they are criminal for that found them guilty. Some of them we've not seen where a court where these suspects have been tried.
Some of these people that we are talking about were not just arrested. Some of them surrendered on their own.
Yes.
Some of them were caught in action. They were now brought to a place and kept to say we are de-radicalizing them. Who is doing the radicalization? I don't know. What kind of program of de-radicalization do you have for them? I don't know. We were in this country when Yar'Adua granted amnesty to the Niger Delta militants. What did he do with them?
They were engaged.
They were engaged.
You saw them.
Yes.
Trained on
those who can go to school were sent to school. Those who can't go to school, I want to learn a trade, were given a trade. And those who said, I don't want to do anything, were being given a stipend to feed. They were kept busy. Karl Marx said, rather than leave a young man idle, ask him to dig a pit. By noon, ask him to fill it back. By evening, pay him a wage. And then you have achieved 3 things. You have expended his energy, you have kept him out of circulation, and then you have fed him. What kind of radicalization program do we have for these people? Now that we are bringing them back to the states, what is the state government going to do with them? Like my sister here said, the state government should take charge. Is the state government going to build a camp and keep them there? No. Let me tell you what happened when we were with the states. We were sending Almajiris back to their state during the COVID. What happened? I was in Jigawa State, for instance. When that happened, the buses load of children will come in, and then they take them to NYC orientation camp to be, accommodated there before they can profile them and probably know the family they come from. And for God's sake, as soon as these children are dropping from the bus, they disappear into thin air. That is what has happened to these people that we de-radicalized before, and we send them back to Borno. Go back and check. Some of those people that were de-radicalized, so-called de-radicalized in Mina, and sent back to Borno, the first thing they did was to go and kill their parents.
Well, let's
and say their parents were responsible for exposing them. So and they now went back into action.
So what should we be doing with repentant criminals or insurgents if we have them in
Good.
very large numbers? It is.
Good. I am happy you asked the question. I just told you here now. What is Chinese doing with prisoners? They're sending them to you here as construction workers. Go and find out. What we should be doing with these people is to keep them busy. Keep them busy. That is the only way you can de-radicalize them. They were idle in the first instance, and that was what brought them into this. You can't go to a place like China or this other country that where they are doing in South Korea now, for instance, and you say somebody has committed a crime, you put him in prison. That's a misnomer. They're wasting him. He's eating government food for nothing.
So
create a job for them. Even if it means create a farm. I said it here before. How is India and China able to feed the billions of their population? How?
So now
Create big farms and put these people, if possible, create a military training camp. Subject them to military training for 6 months. Not de-radicalization. Give them military orientation. I know that if you give them the kind of thing we were giving in the depot, by the time they come out after 6 months, they are changed human beings. They will be subjected to strict discipline. By the time they come back, they are soft. Send them to farm. Let them go and be farming. Create a battalion for farm and say, so and so battalion, farming battalion, if you care to call it that name.
So now
Give
are you
them
now
tractors,
saying that
give them all the support, and give them a target. This year, I want 3 tons of maize from you. Commander, if that does not happen, you have a problem.
So are you now saying that for now the military should delay returning them back to the state until centers are put in place by state government for their maybe taking them back to the states and putting them in a center where they will keep them busy in form of a training, like a correctional center, where they will keep them busy, after some time engage them and integrate them into the state?
What I will advise is that the military should approach the federal government or whoever to give them budgetary support to keep these people until after election.
The military again?
Yeah, the military, they are in custody now. They are still with them. They are still with them. I am simply saying that because if you release them into the society now, you are jeopardizing the election.
All right, we may not have to extend our discussion above beyond where we are now. Maybe when next we call you, look at other areas of insecurity as regards the election.